Welcome back to the Gunn Show, my friends. I am here today with a good brother from another. I was going to say author, but I'm not sure author. I think I like Terry better than you today. So no offense, author. No, I'm just kidding. But we have to start this out with a laugh. But we do have my good brother, Terry Iverson, here today. We'll introduce him in just a minute. Author, you're co-hosting with me. We love you, appreciate you. Just trying to get that laugh out there. But let's get into first and foremost, in case somebody's joining us for the first time, and you've stumbled upon the Gunn Show, what are we about? We are about humanizing manufacturing. If everyone took a pause and looked around them right now, other than air, which we probably will make soon, other than humans, which we probably will make soon, and some of the nature, because we're already making nature, everything around you is touched by manufacturing. So the goal of this show is to excite, attract, make manufacturing sexy again. I mean, like you, author, sexy. We're trying to make it sexy and fun and entertaining. And how do we do that? Well, we have a labor shortage, a skills gap. We've all been talking about it. There's different variations of why that exists and how we can kind of do our very best to reduce that and what we can do in the future. Now, that's conversations maybe here, maybe another day, but it is a topic that always comes up. So this is about humanizing, making it fun. Terry's here to help us do the same. And before we get into that, let me just also thank all returning guests. We truly, truly appreciate you. If you've been entertained or taught something on a previous podcast and you decided to join us again, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, manufacturing is not the currently coolest thing on the planet. I know you folks out there are TikToking and Instagramming and doing your boogie woogie woogies or whatever it is you're doing, but we're trying to make this fun too. I swear we are. But let's thank some sponsors. Without our sponsors, we can't do any of this. So Revelation Machinery, thank you so much for what you do, connecting the people who are selling their machines with the people who are needing machines and making everyone win. American Precision Museum, just over my left shoulder. I got my own shaper here. Shop Floor Coffee. If you got coffee in your shop right now, support these guys because they give back to manufacturing. No need to just buy random unless you just love the coffee you're buying. Get this. You might love this too. AMT, IMCS, thank you for everything you do. We appreciate you being on our sleeves again. EBITDA Growth Systems and Shop Rescue, fascinating. What I love about these guys is that they guarantee that you folks out there, they will double your profits within 3 years at your shop. No one does that. No one says they'll do that. But these guys, Mike and Dave, they make that claim and they back it up as well. And last but not least, we have to thank the folks over at Tecma down in Mexico. We talk a lot about reshoring, the importance of reshoring, bringing it back. Except we gave it all away and the infrastructure isn't fully there. We need to rebuild, and I think we can do that with the help of Canada and Mexico. So there are folks down in Mexico who've invested in engineering for all these years. We call that nearshoring with all the same rules and regulations that we love and believe in here. So that's the kind of partnerships we want when we think about nearshoring and reshoring. So thank you so much. I will see you in June in Mexico City at the new Santa Fe location. Extremely excited about that. All right, I'm done. I'm done talking. I'm done. I'm ready. Well, I'm not done talking. It's a podcast, but I'm done with my introduction. Terry, it is so good to have you here. I'm very excited. Thank you for sharing your time with us.
Oh, thanks. I'm honored to be on the show with you and Arthur, and I've looked forward to this for a long time, so I really appreciate it.
All right, Arthur. Well, I've already blabbed along for a good 3 to 5 minutes here, so I'm going to let you kick this one off as I normally do. But it's your turn today, buddy. I'm gonna take a drink of water. I got my alpha brain and my water right now, so I'm gonna get my brain kicked off, and you go ahead and kick this off.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about that alpha brain later, but that's the side point. So really, Terry, I was so excited when I saw that you were going to be on the podcast today. Because, I mean, you had Iverson Company that you kind of started everything with, and you were super successful there. But then you've been on a mission, kind of like Tony and I get up to with the MTDCNC crew, with bringing more awareness. And my first question, man, is you're already a successful business owner. What inspired you, to work towards Champions Now and the 2 books you've written? Like, what was fueling that fire?
And before you answer that, Terry, I got to do this real quick for everyone who's watching and listening right now. Please welcome Terry Iverson, author, consultant, founder, keynote speaker, the manufacturer mentor, and championnow.org. Eddie Saunders, that goes out to you, buddy. I had to do it. All right. So go ahead, Terry.
Well, we have so many family members, Arthur and Tony, that have been in manufacturing. 1925 marks the 100th year that our family has been in manufacturing. So I really got into mentoring as a young man way, way, way long ago. And I've been mentored when I was young. I've been mentored as an old guy, and I believe in mentoring. So giving back and giving back to our industry and to all our young people in this country has been really important to me.
Yeah, might I just say, you look fantastic for 100 years. You're incredible. What is your secret?
The family, not me.
Oh, I got that.
Only 45 for me. So
I had to give you a compliment regardless. You look good at 45 too, Terry. I had to make the terrible joke. We're here to make these things fun.
that's okay. That's all good.
Championnow.org.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about this and how you got into it, how you got excited about it, why other people should get excited about it, and how we can best support you on this journey.
Oh, thank you for asking that, especially. So Champion Now is Champion is an acronym. I don't know if anybody knows that. It's change how American manufacturing is perceived in our nation.
I didn't know that. Thank you. That is awesome.
It's the longest acronym ever. Came up with it on a plane, on a napkin, prototypical brainstorming, right? And
awesome.
The now is to do something about it. So I started Champion Now officially in 2012 as a 501c3. The person that I'm sure both of you know, and I'm sure you've spoken to, that got me in the mid 90s is Harry Mosier.
Yes, sir. The reshoring guru at this point. Yeah.
So Harry's from the machine tool world. My family and I are from the machine tool world. And in the mid 90s, he wanted me to start speaking to high school kids. So that's what I did. And I believed in his message. It was before he got into the reshoring initiative and invented that. But basically, I decided to do a deep dive in technical education and really take a lot of the travel soccer coaching that I did. I know you're a soccer player, Tony, and mentoring young people while coaching travel soccer, and take that energy and that time and invest it into young people in manufacturing.
That's incredible on many levels. The Harry Moser point, the soccer point, of course. I love soccer. Harry Moser is such an interesting character because for years and years, he had been preaching about reshore, almost like a broken record that someone like myself would have loved, but other ones were like, stop talking about it. Then COVID hits. We have all these issues, and instantly Harry's famous. Instantly Harry is the guru and the name for reshoring because everyone else caught up to what he had been preaching for a decade.
Totally. I totally agree with you, Tony.
Yeah. All right, soccer. This isn't even, now we're not even talking manufacturing, but I love soccer so much. I have to ask, what do you love about that sport? The travel and the coach and the participating?
Well, all my soccer players, I played as a young man. I was a forward, which I think, Tony, you were as well. And, soccer was important to me and I was able to succeed at it. But what I enjoyed about it in terms of coaching is the mentoring component and teaching young people more than just how to kick a ball and how to trap and how to shoot. And have these young people, both young men and young women, become, responsible and honest, hardworking adults. And that's what I enjoyed about coaching travel soccer.
Yeah, and you and I would lean certainly in the soccer world, but I would say that when we have the ability to join a team sport in any facet, and we're working together in order to do a greater good, which we would consider to be a win in this situation, trying to find a way to win, a lot of those lessons kind of come to surface, don't they? Author, I have about 1 million questions, but I know you do too. And as much as I hog this thing, I don't want to hog too much from you. I'm also going to go silent for a second. Hey there, manufacturers. Need to sell your surplus CNC machinery? Whether it's vertical machining centers, CNC lathes, or machines from top brands like Yazda, Matsur, or Watchon, let me introduce you to Revelation Machinery. If you've never worked with a used machinery dealer before, here's what you're missing. Selling equipment on your own can mean long waits, low offers, and lots of time chasing leads. Revelation Machinery changes the game, bringing nationwide exposure to your machines. Their team is located across the USA, so wherever you are, you've got a local expert on your side. Revelation doesn't just list your equipment, they use targeted marketing methods to get your machines in front of serious buyers. Revelation Machinery is committed to fair pricing, full transparency, and taking care of the details. From paperwork to logistics and even rigging if you need it, they're there every step of the way so you're not juggling any part of the process alone. Ready to let a trusted partner handle the heavy lifting? Head to revelationmachinery.com/The Gunn Show to see how easy it is to turn that surplus machinery into cash with Revelation Machinery.
Yeah, well, I love the connection. It's interesting. So many people that coach youth sports find something to bring in. So did you know, like when you started coaching the youth sports, if that was, oh, I'm starting to see, like I'm passionate about manufacturing, I see how I can bring that over? Or was there like this aha eureka moment where you're like, oh my God, they kind of overlap?
Well, my whole life, I believed, to Tony's point, in team sports as being, if I look back when I was a young person and I saw all the people I played ball with, there's a very high percentage of those people that played both football and soccer, which I played both, that have been very successful in life. So as a young person, way back when, I realized that there's something to this. And then I felt, committed to give back and especially give back to young people. So absolutely, team sports, any young person that can get involved in team sports, I highly recommend it.
I do too. Absolutely agree. Author, did you have a follow-up? Because I do.
Well, because I'm looking at the Camp Champ behind you. I know what it is, but share a little bit for those that maybe can't see your chair if they're listening to us over on the listening only platforms. But how does the Camp Champ, how does that play into your mission?
Well, Camp Champ, obviously the word champ is a spinoff of champion. But Camp Champ, we designed, my oldest son and I designed it about a year and a half ago. And IMEC has been very generous in supporting us doing these camps. But what's unique about it, it's a portable camp that we take out on the road, and we can really set it up anywhere. All we need is 110 power.
Wow.
But what we do is we set up 6 stations, and we do manufacturing in different facets, different processes. And then we have 4 middle school students at each station. And then we have high school CTE students that are mentoring the middle school students. And so we make a pen, and when we make the pen, we assemble it, we stain it, we sand it. We actually laser engrave each child's name, each student's name onto a plate. And when at the end, they get a box, they get a cool shirt like this with, Camp Champ and their school logos and name on it. And then when they leave, they really have an appreciation and an inspiration about what manufacturing is.
Oh my gosh. I'm stealing it now, Author. I don't care if you have a follow-up or not. How mobile is this setup, Terry? You said a 110 is it throw it into a suitcase mobile, or is this put it into a car mobile?
It's, real good question. I try to do things that I haven't seen others do in our industry, Tony.
Well, you've won with that last whole statement you made. I'm ready to figure out how to work this thing.
So what I did is I designed crates where I could put a tabletop CNC machine run by a PC, G-code on a PC, and then put it on a hydraulic lift that I can raise and lower on wheels. And then the machine's 110, the computer, the laptop's 110, and then I roll it into the crate. I have ramps that go up and down into the crate, and then I can ship it anywhere in the country. We did one East Leiden. We did the first 2 at East Leiden. It was in their cafeteria in their school. We've done it at machine shops. We've done it in lobbies. We did it at College of Lake County in their meeting area, like foyer type of area. And so the more mobile, a lot of people have these 18-wheelers that they'll bring in, but you have to funnel the kids through the actual 18-wheeler, and it's just not conducive to being interactive with high school mentors. And so we try to have the middle school, the feeder middle school to the high school. So next year or year after that, the middle school students see the kids that actually mentored them in the camp.
Can I propose an idea that's probably outlandish, but maybe by taking pieces of it, we could get it to work by next year? So I was talking with the Autodesk folks a couple of years back, and they wanted to take a van around the country and go from school to school. They already do Autodesk University, and they wanted to speak to the kids, and we were talking about filming it, and all of the fun, like almost like a reality show of a van going around the country. Does this crate you've described fit inside of a van, and that we can slide in and out from school to school?
Yeah, I mean, just to give you an example, I had 3 camps from November 19th, or 3 days, 6 camps from November 19th to December 12th. And I rented a U-Haul. It wasn't huge, but I rented a U-Haul, got all 3 of the crates in there, and then we can take them off on a forklift. But I've also done it on a van or a U-Haul that has a hydraulic tailgate to lower it and raise it. So there's a lot of different things we can do, and I'm redesigning the camp constantly, but I'm also selling the camp so that people see manufacturing day. I was early in on the manufacturing day wagon, Tony, way back in 2012, and FMA was at my office with people from all over the country when manufacturing day was literally just a novel idea. Well, what I want manufacturing day hundreds of days a year in everyone's community. So by having a Camp Champ, which we sell as a turnkey package for about $50,000 all in, then they can have manufacturing day in their community, at their high school, at their middle schools, in their company, or in their technical college, hundreds of days a year.
Amazing.
That's how we move the needle. Hundreds of days a year, not one day or 1 month a year.
Yeah, hundreds of days a year at schools across the country. It makes sense to me. That's how we get excitement back again.
That's the whole initiative, and the whole point and focus is get people excited. Now, the other thing I'll mention to you that Arthur, maybe but if we send them home without any data, Tony, mom and dad hear about all this excitement, the kids get all excited, and then mom and dad say no.
And send them to university.
So exactly. So the second book, Arthur, has the parent version in addition to the student version.
Oh, I do.
One side's the student version, and then you flip it over, and the other side is the parent version.
So that's awesome. What's the difference between the two? I mean, I would know how did you write the difference?
Well, I tried to write it from a parent's perspective and also a student's perspective. And there's a lot of the same stories in both sides, but then there's some different stories in one side and some different stories in the other. And then I put QR codes. Tony, I don't know about you, but I know that I had ADHD before they could spell it way back when.
I got kicked out of 3 colleges and dropped out of high school. I definitely had ADHD.
I probably should have been kicked out. But I put QR codes in there so that if someone like me who can never read a book from front to cover, many times I start from cover, from back to front, you have a QR code to go to videos on our website that are about the subject matter that, may be dragging a little bit, and you can have a digital component to it.
Can I challenge you with something because you're so damn creative?
I give it a shot.
Can your next book be a choose your own adventure manufacturing book where you flip to a certain page as you choose your? Do you remember those books? Those are my favorite books.
I take all recommendations and advice and ideas, and I'll see what I can do. Let's just say that.
You're brilliant. You're brilliant. I am stealing everything, author, and I even have more questions. I feel like I'm leaving you out of this, and I don't want to. You're too smart. As I've told everyone on every podcast, you're smarter than me. That's why we're here together. So I could maybe, make someone chuckle from time to time, and you can bring in the brilliance. So again, I'm going to stay silent and give you a moment.
This is Shop Rescue.
My name is Paul Van Meter. I am one of the co-founders of ProShop ERP. We partner with small to medium-sized machine shops to streamline their operations and help improve their profitability. This was an absolute no-brainer when I heard about this project. When other shop owners see this and see what's possible, it will inspire them to improve their own businesses, to invest in systems and processes and do the things, pull the levers that Mike and Dave talk about that can have just a huge impact on their shops. The shops that embrace change and are aggressive to pursue it, improve efficiencies, improve quality, those are the shops that are going to thrive. Take those steps to improve their operations, and it makes a huge difference. And it's worth getting past that fear to the other side.
Well, I know we're going to have contact details and everything for how people, because I can't imagine, like totally selfishly, I can't imagine anyone hearing what you just talked about with the Camp Champ stuff and all that and not being at the edge of their seat right now, kind of like Tony is, and just want to get involved.
Yes.
So we'll make sure we include that for anyone listening. We don't need to talk about it too much, but I just, anytime I hear about stuff like this is a very grand vision. You're up to crazy things. You've clearly got a massive fire, but also a crazy amount of discipline. That it can't be the easiest journey that you've been on. So I'm wondering, maybe whether it was, the first school you got Camp Champ into or whatever that was, but something that you had to overcome to get this project moving forward. Does that make sense? Is that a clear question?
It is. It is. I think the biggest challenge that I have, I think that's where you're going, Arthur, is the biggest challenge is for 12 years, I kind of have funded Camp Champ and Champion Now on my own, with rare exception. And now the challenge is to make it sustainable and to have the industry, to Tony's point earlier, have the industry embrace it and also support it. One of the things, when Harry first got me involved, Champion Now was pretty much me talking to high school people and students. And, basically I decided, you know what, I'm going to write a book. Don't know if I'm going to be able to, but somehow I pulled that off. And then I wrote a second book. And then during COVID, I did 22 educational videos just so people could have insight on what's turning, what's milling. So during COVID, when nobody was going anywhere, CTE, Cutting Tool Engineering Magazine, and I did videos about manufacturing. Unfortunately, my father, who was one of my biggest mentors in life and at work, he passed about 4 years ago, and so I started a scholarship program. And then Camp Champ came in 2023 and 2024. So now I'm at a point, 12 years after I started Champion Now, where I feel confident walking into any CEO office, any machine shop, any business, or anybody that would even consider listening. And I feel confident that I have laid down a foundation of products that anybody in the industry can use and help navigate the workforce issues that we have.
Terry, I want to say something, and I'm putting it on record because I'm a big believer that when we say things, we can create, right? I believe in the manifestation powers of words. Mm-hmm. I love what you're doing, and I want to figure out how MTD can support you or partner with you and see if we can bring a cameraman to some of these days, film it, pop it onto our channel with 150, 170,000 subscribers and continually growing and not just have the day of, but showcase to the world what you're working on. And that hopefully will create a ripple effect that can move quicker than trying to hold down the fort on your own, because this idea is brilliant and it needs to be known. And I know it's known, and I know you're working hard. I know it's there, and people like us know about it, but let's expand that reach. Let's let everyone I'm saying it out loud because I think there's a way that we can work together on this.
Oh, that's so generous of you and the people at MTD, both you, Tony, and Arthur. And that's just, that gives me goosebumps just hearing you.
Me too, buddy. Me too. When I was saying it, I got it. I really, really believe in this. All right. We're going to step away from this a little bit, but kind of around the same topic and going back to your second book, and we'll talk about the first book in a little bit. But the Inspiring Champions in Advanced Manufacturing, I want to take those last two words, advanced manufacturing. Mm-hmm. Our schools currently, since you're visiting them and getting people excited again, even our trade schools, we typically walk in and see manual machines and 3-axis machines. These schools are oftentimes a little nervous about popping a 5-axis machine or a mill turn or a lathe or turning center that has 3 turrets and 2 spindles because they think their students will break it or whatever it might be. But this is advanced manufacturing as we know it today in order to compete on a global level. So when you've written a book, Inspiring Champions in Advanced Manufacturing, how do we inspire more champions to accept and bring in this world of advanced manufacturing and not just, and don't get me wrong, I have definitely come from the world of running a manual machine and feeling the purr of the machine and knowing what happens when I'm too deep or too light, knowing how all of that works. And I believe they should be in there. But when somebody steps out of school, they need to be a productive part of our society in a very high capacity way, in my opinion, as we do have this labor and skill shortage. And when one person can run machines like that, it just gives them more, it gives the company more, it gives the nation more. So how do we bring that all together?
Oh boy. Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's a big one. All right. So first of all, a lot of schools first of all, there's a resurgence of schools getting into the manufacturing sector. So let's start there. But the biggest mistake that I see is that they don't have an element of recruitment for the program. They think just because they have it, buy it and place it and install it, and they will come.
Build it and they will come.
That's not the case. And so that's one thing. Secondarily, I think what we need to do is we need to fill the seats first, whether it be manual machines or 3-axis machines or CNC turning equipment or what have you. And then after we're filling the seats and we have momentum, then we need 5-axis machines, Swiss machines. And there's a huge digital component that no one really accentuates, because we have all these gamers. We have in this world, Tony and Arthur, we have 3 billion gamers. Something that my generation doesn't understand.
I had a PS2.
Okay, well, you're way,
as far as I got.
You're way younger than me, but my 35-year-old is a gamer, and some of my grandkids are gamers. And the digital, not divide, but the digital component of gaming is so much closer to the CNC component that there's a natural connection there. And then as manufacturing, every 2, 3, 4, 5 years, manufacturing just leapfrogs over itself. So what's going to happen is we need to quickly make that connection between gaming and CNC, and then there'll be more automation in manufacturing. There's going to be more CNC, more 5-axis machines, more multi-turret machines. But we have to get the recruitment piece of it in place, and people have to join in, because we can buy, 100, 200, $250,000, $300,000 machines and then not have anybody show up. And that's not good.
That would not be good. My follow-up question, and I have my own opinion on this, and we've done probably a ton of podcasts and interviews on the question I'm going to propose about, we lost manufacturing for a little bit, right? We sent it all overseas. Yep. If we know we need something, but it hasn't existed at a popular level for a while, I know video games might be part of this answer. How can we, as a community of lovers of this industry, make this easier to connect for people who are simply playing on apps on their phone or growing up with this digital technology, or kind of love the luxuries of sitting back and, not working with their hands? And there's still folks out there, and I'm not dismissing them for sure. I love the tinkerers out there on the, working on their scooters and motorcycles and things like that. They're everywhere. But how can we build that bridge again when we sent it all overseas, and there was a generation that got pissed off because they lost their jobs from sending it all overseas, to help them believe again? Where is all of that smorgasbord of ingredients? How do we make that work again? How do we cook with it?
Hey everybody, Mike Franz here with Shop Floor Coffee. For 20 years, we've been seeing the same issues going on with workforce development and the shortage in workers across the industry. We wanted a way to give back. Shop Floor Coffee is our way to do that. Proceeds from every bag or every type of coffee you buy from us go back to the community. We work with amazing programs and initiatives across the country where we're giving back. We want to help support the community. Come together with us. Join us in this effort to help support the community. Please, thank you very much.
Well, I think first of all, the dynamic and exciting, energetic people like you and MTD and Tony and Arthur, that's a huge start. And that community is growing, continually. I think young people or younger people, like you guys, speaking about this and being able to connect, I mean, there's only so much, the silver tsunami guys can do and have people, believe in it and listen to it, right? So I think the other thing is, when we had COVID, there was an epiphany with a lot of our culture and a lot of our community in the general populace that said, it's not really a good thing that we can't get what we need. I haven't seen many people talk about that, God forbid, if China ever invades Taiwan, we're way too dependent on too many products coming from Taiwan, even in our industry. So I think what's going to happen is, you go around the world, and Tony, I know you travel a lot, and I assume Arthur does as well. But you go to a lot of Europe, and you find, you fly into Hanover or different parts of Germany, and you see that the cabs they have, they're all Mercedes.
True.
So they buy German product for, German, people and for those coming into Germany. So at some point, we have to, I've been a Buy USA my entire life. And I speak a lot about that. At our company, Iverson and Company, which I just sold about 19 months ago, over the years, I bought American car after American car after American car. And I think one of the best products that I ever saw was the Saturn. I bought over 40 Saturns in my career because they put out a great product. So I'm not saying that we should settle for things that are less than what they should be. We should always hold our country to a high standard. But I just think that we need to be more cognizant of buying American-made products, bringing more manufacturing back. But if we don't solve the problem, who's going to make the things and what the next generation is going to do as far as coming into our industry, well, then, we're not going to accomplish much. We're going to bring it back only to send it back out.
To get it over to Mexico or back over to India or something like that. You're so right. Arthur, please continue, my friend.
Well, it's a great conversation, and the conversations like this are part of the way that we bring more attention to it and get those wheels turning for people that are listening in out there with us. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting when you're talking about the gamer side. Like my house, we all game. Me, my wife, both of my stepchildren, my son who's 21. He doesn't live with us now, but he's a gamer. But one of the things that we keep talking to them about, and I've shared it on podcasts, is if you love creating digitally, it's finding a way to create in the physical world. And we've been able to sway my stepdaughter. She just turned 13. She's in grade 8 going into grade 9. And when she goes into grade 9, she's starting in the welding and fabrication program. As a result, awesome. She's decided, we exposed her. The local schools thankfully have a really good tech exposing program that exposes them to a lot of different tech. She's taking electronics right now. She hates electronics. But it solidified her love for welding and fabrication. And thankfully, a local high school has that program. But I think it's the conversation we've had with her and that I have with other young people. It's like, if you like consuming stuff that's created online, Reels and TikToks and all of that stuff, you can create stuff in the real world. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be digitally on your phone. You can make real things, and it's helping them fall in love with, hey, I made that. So like my stepson, we do a lot of robotics type kits and STEM type kits. We do a KiwiCo, not sponsored, but KiwiCo, it's a monthly mailer that you can get in North America. Mm-hmm. And they have all kinds of different projects, and little things like this start to stir it for the youth to be like, oh, I can make stuff. I can problem solve stuff. For sure. So I think that would be hugely supportive for more adults, more parents to just say, look, I want to give my kids a fulfilling career. All three of us here, and probably anyone watching, has had a fulfilling career in manufacturing in some way, shape, or form. For sure. But let's find more ways and share more ways that are working, not just with the people that are already in manufacturing, but the people outside of it, maybe family members that don't love manufacturing. Mm-hmm. And helping them, because it all starts within our own families, and it can ripple outwards like that.
The one thing that I'll say real quick is, you know, we've done a poor job in manufacturing in really promoting our careers and really educating either our family or our friends and others about what we do in manufacturing. To your point, Tony, about everything you look around you, everything's made, unless it's grown or born, right? And so consequently, you need to look different places. During the Me Too movement, Tony and Arthur, that's when I wrote my first book. And I really speak up for women and how few women are in our industry. And then the second book was during our racial awakening that happened in our country. And I really spoke up for people of color. And there's not nearly enough people of color in our industry. And so manufacturers out there have to look in different places than where they commonly have looked, to the point of Camp Champ and taking, the camp wherever it needs to be, where people have no idea, which is far too many places, what manufacturing is. And lastly, we have to get to the parents. We have to talk to the parents and say, this is not your grandfather's manufacturing any longer. And so give your child a chance when they bring up manufacturing, and they may be ideally suited for it. Manufacturing is not for everybody, but very few people know about it. And so if they don't know about it, how can they make a conscious decision, yay or nay?
Terry, you're gonna get me up on my soapbox now, buddy. Oh my gosh, this is a topic I fight with all the time from every angle, and people fight back. And whether it's the marketing side of things or the innovation side of things, the adaptation of technology, manufacturing is. Look, I'm gonna not say this politically correct because I probably should, but I'm not gonna. We're a traditional industry. We almost love it's always worked this way, so I don't need to change it kind of mentality. Whether it's the marketing side of things, which goes back to your point, Terry, about we've never done a good job of hyping ourselves up. Most people, when they say, what do you do? I'm an engineer or manufacture things. That's the end of the conversation. We don't go into the details of what we do and how awesome we are. Most of the engineers I know are introverted, and they're not out there with a bullhorn talk about, I'm amazing, look what I do. That's not what we do in manufacturing. We make stuff, we stay humble, we make the world go round. So You're correct. You're absolutely correct that we have done a very poor job of being outspoken. Some people brag about I'm a doctor and I'm playing golf today. I just helped with a C-section. I'm amazing, But we helped too. We made the components to help that C-section happen. I told you I was going to get on a soapbox. But what we have been so poor at that. So to your point, if we can do a better job of opening our doors and bringing in cameras, showcasing personalities, removing the I'm scared to show what I'm doing because my neighbor is going to take my understanding of what I'm making. We already know there's very little being done between one shop and another. It's just the skill set that goes along with it, the machines that some of that create. Anyway. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And then on top of that, to your point, we do need to look elsewhere. The women out there, the diversity out there. And I'll throw in one more for you is the veterans that come back from working in the military. Let's throw them in there too. That they're all great pools of information. Knowing all of what we just agreed on here and understanding that most of the public schools around the nation don't have a large budget for bringing us in. How do we talk to the parents, and how do we get them excited, and how do we bring the excited folks in manufacturing to share their story and show off the cool shit that they're doing and opening their doors to these kids to get into the factories? It's really this puzzle that's all over the place right now.
He's an engineer, traveler, author, speaker, podcast host, and recently tried to go surfing in a hurricane. But will you please make us feel very welcome to Tony Gunn.
Thank you so much. How many in here love social media marketing? I would hopefully empower you to give it a try if you have time. If you can, you will find value in it. You won't find value in it on day one, but you will find value in it. You will grow your shops. You will grow your clientele, you will grow your relationships, and then simultaneously while empowering yourself, you will reach an audience that we're all fighting to reach.
It is. And I want to think that I'm at least trying to do my part, but
you are.
We need, I can do more, and I hope to do more, but
I could do less too, and I don't want you to do that.
Well, I think part of what I want to say is, I'd like to tell people, look, this is not about selling books. This is about selling a perception. This is about getting information that helps young people all around the country. And I look at people like, for example, Manufacturing Day, they'll print out a small flyer and they'll hand it out, but that's really not going to turn heads. What I like to do is I like to give all the stories, about people that have been successful in manufacturing. Everyone knows Drew Crow. He's in my second book. And you know what? There's not enough Drew Crows out there. Drew has risen very quickly to notoriety because there's that big of a need for somebody that, is a person of color that came from modest beginnings and now all of a sudden is found manufacturing and now finds out how cool it is and how rewarding it can be. We need more of that. We need more of women that have been successful. And your point to military, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. It's a huge, that's where I am right now. It's a huge military town. And you're right, you couldn't be more right, Tony. Military personnel coming out of the military are absolutely ideally suited. And there needs to be more of that. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I've got on my soapbox, Arthur. Terry jumped on board with me. It's your turn now.
Well, it's 100%, but the thing that's really clear, okay, and we talk about military, it's kind of where my brain's going with this, is look at the way that the military recruits, and they've got entire ad campaigns across airports and in bus stops, and they go to schools and they campaign around the country going school to school to school to school, making people aware of the options in the military. It's what can we do on the manufacturing side from the companies that say they're in so demand for all of these students? What can we do with the supplier side that want to fuel the growth here in North America? What can they do to make funds available to employ more people like Drew Crow or other people that can spend their time traveling and campaigning school after school? I mean, the amount that you've paid for out of your own pocket, Terry, to bring awareness, it's beautiful and it's wonderful and I love it. But we have entire industries, thousands of companies that say they want this. So where's their money and when is it going to come where their mouth is at? That's my question to anyone out there.
I was only 6 numbers away from the last $1 billion Mega Millions. It could have been funded right then. I was only 6 away.
Don't think that hasn't crossed my mind. If I could only win $1 billion so I could give it all away. Right?
Hey, it would be so easy, wouldn't it?
But no, I think, to your point, Arthur, first and foremost, if people want books, they can go to championnow.org. But it's very simple to go to your local high school. Make this, on the back of every shirt, we put manufacturing localism. What we want to do is we want manufacturers to be leaders in their community. Go to their local high school. If they don't have a program, help them start one. And then, buy some books and give them to the kids to take home to their parents. Have a camp champ, at your school, to, get the ideas going, and then bring in manufacturers at your school that can tell their story, that I have a nice home. I buy whatever car I want that, that I can justify to drive, whatever it may or may not be. I take nice vacations. I don't have debt. I mean, that's what that's what the whole middle class in this country stemmed from, pun intended, right? Yeah. Stemmed from manufacturing. And now with STEM programs and people starting, STEM programs and STEAM programs, we need to make that connection. Arthur and Tony, I hope one day to finish a third book where it's a 2-sided book, one for manufacturers and industry and the other side for education. Because the disconnect we have between the parents and the students is the same disconnect that we have between industry and education.
Yeah, that's a fact. And your 4th book better be Choose Your Own Adventure. As we start to close this thing out, because we only have a couple more minutes left, and I'm going to be long-winded about this, Terry, to give you time to think. If there's any questions we didn't ask you today, just a closing statement that you'd like the audience to hear. And while you think about that, I'm 100% with you, Terry. I can personally say that I've gone from so-called troubled teen gang situation to dropping out of school, being homeless when I was 20, living on the streets, to global traveler, and absolutely because of manufacturing. These are the stories. We all have something that's been brought to our lives that's been amazing from manufacturing that we can have gratitude for. I'm grateful for Drew getting out there and doing what he's doing. I wish there was more funding out there so we could hire additional support for him, as some of us are working in other areas. We got friends out there working on the education side of things, friends working on awareness, friends working on the technology to help these shops get the best bang for their buck. We're doing everything we can as a community. We just need more of it. So I hope I've been long-winded enough to give you a time to think about your closing statement.
Well, I think it's just a matter of spending the last 12 years to try to make a product that people can grab onto and jump in. I think people need to jump in. At IMTS, I didn't know all your story, Tony, but when I sat and listened to you talk, I identified with a lot of things that you said when you spoke at IMTS. I was bored, because of my ADHD as a kid. I was bored in AP Physics, AP Calculus. I had a great teacher who I still communicate with even to this day. But if you see energetic people, young people in class, and they're having a tough time learning and they're passionate, I mean, look at all the energy, I wish I had half the energy you have, Tony and Arthur. But look at all the energy that people like us can provide when we're passionate about something and there's not that connection made. And then, when you see people that really have a tough time in class, they can, be better when they're working with their hands and their minds. But I challenge industry members at IMTS. The Morris Group jumped in and started giving us a little bit of funding because I do want to have a full-time employee for Champion Now, and that's the next step. But getting books from the championnow.org website, I try to sign every single book that I send out, and I try to discount for large quantities. There's the videos on our YouTube page that people can learn from and hopefully get some inspiration from. And then in addition to that, we have Camp Champ. Those people that want to invest and bring a camp to their community, then there's that as well. But I have to close and wrap this up by saying, MTDCNC and Tony Gunn and Arthur Field and other podcasters in our industry, you guys are part of the messaging and part of the solution. And I feel so strongly, one of the reasons I was so excited about being able to be asked to be on your show is that you guys are promoting the message and you're doing everything you can to get the message out there. And that's one of the many, many, many things we need. So kudos to you guys.
No, you're going to make me cry, Terry. We damn sure try our best. I'll tell you that. All right, we're going to close this out. But I was gifted this at IMTS 2022.
Yes, you were.
And has a couple of wood pencils in here that are functioning, that are pens that I've used over the years.
Awesome.
All made on a CNC machine and gifted to me. So
that's from Camp Champ. So nice job.
Yes, I had to bring that up to close this out. Camp Champ, we got to love it. All right, for everyone who's watching, listening, being a part of this, thank you so much. Time is the one thing we cannot manufacture more of, no matter how hard author Terry and I try. We appreciate your time and spending it with us, and we'll see you again on the next one. Terry, you're incredible. I certainly appreciate you being here.
Thank you again. I appreciate it, Tony and Arthur.
Thank you, guys.